All right. What is happening, everybody? Week 12, fantasy football start sit live stream. You guys know what we do around here. Hopefully, you guys had a good Thanksgiving, a good Black Friday, all that good stuff. As we wait for people to file in and some of the supers to pile up and all that good stuff, let's kick things off with our superlatives, Danny. I know you're coming off of a massive win for your Wolverines, so I'm sure you're pretty hyped up for that. But yeah, let's kick it off today with some of our locks of the week. And my lock of the week, it's very clear. The Buccaneers defense is really banged up. The Indianapolis Colts defense stinks. This game's going over. 45 points is not enough. I know the Sharps, 99% of the cash is on the over right now. And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it feels like every Bucs game that we've seen the last couple of weeks have been shootouts, and Baker Mayfield and company are able to put up points. And, Gardner Minshew, Josh Downs, and Pittman should be able to get it done against a pretty bad Bucs secondary this year, even though they should be better on paper.
Yeah, and I talked about it on the Start Sit show, but one of my favorite starts of the week, a top 30 wide receiver for me, was Josh Downs. I love that game environment. I love all the wide receivers involved, and I do think, like you said, it's going to be a sneaky 27-23 type of game, which obviously would hit the over at the 45 mark. So I really like that pick as well. My lock of the week, and it seems gutty going against the best quarterback in the NFL with Patrick Mahomes, but I just think 9 points is too much. Playing on the road, playing against Vegas, divisional matchup. And typically speaking, when the Chiefs are favored by a ton of points, 7+, 8+ points, that's usually a letdown spot. They're not the type of team like the Cowboys, the Bills, where if they're favored by 10, 11 points, a lot of points, they're going to go out there and beat a team by 21. Think this is going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be like a 21-27, 21-27, 21-17, 24-17 type of game. I also do like the under in this game.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, the Chiefs haven't been world beaters on offense. No. It's basically just their defense that they've been riding the coattails of lately. And I don't have a lot of faith in Aiden O'Connell and the Raiders offense to put up points, but I also don't really have a whole lot of faith in the Mahomes Chiefs offense right now to be just like hanging 35 on the Raiders. And the Raiders are also like, historically, they play the Chiefs pretty well, and they're usually good for one upset spot a year. So I actually don't even hate this if you wanted to do this like straight as your underdog pick of the week, because they're a 9-point dog at home. Like, this is not the worst spot to go after a touchdown underdog, in my opinion, because I could see them winning this game outright. Speaking of our underdog picks of the week, of course, presented by Underdog Fantasy, use promo code FSE. My underdog pick of the week is Buffalo Bills. Backs against the wall, going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. It's in Philly, which is not great because they play quite well at home.
Great game.
But at the same time, I think the Bills are outside of the playoff picture looking in right now. The Eagles, they're due for like a slip-up spot. You know what I mean? Like, they should have lost last week. They didn't end up losing. I think this is the game that they end up dropping to, with their second loss of the season or whatever. So I think Buffalo's got a lot more to play for in this game than Philly does.
Yeah, I mean, adding to that too, I'm not going to go out there and sound like the bitter Cowboys fan. Like, don't get me wrong, the Eagles are a very good team. They're 9-1 for a reason. They should be considered the best team in the NFL. But from an urgency standpoint, the Bills, especially with the Bengals dropping out of basically the playoff picture at this point, they know they're competing for those playoff spots with the Browns, with the Steelers, with teams like that. And they know that if they want to get a playoff spot, they're going to have to start, basically sun running the rest of the season. 6-5 record, you typically have to get to at least 11-6, 10-7 to have a chance to make the AFC playoffs. And I do think that winning today would go a long way towards that. I contemplated making them my pick, but I can't do that. I can't do that. People are going to be like, oh, Cowboys fan picking against the Eagles. I think this is a true 50-50 game. And the fact that the Bills are -3 or +3 in this game kind of signals that, because obviously, if you're building in some home field advantage there, 3 points for home field, playing at the link. Vegas basically views these teams on par. I don't know. I think this game can go either way, and the Bills offense, if they get clicking, can absolutely get that upset. So I like that as well. My underdog pick of the week is actually going to be a 2-point home underdog. This team has bitten me in the past, and they're kind of like our pseudo team, considering the fact that we love their running back. We love their weapons. We don't exactly like their head coach or their quarterback, but divisional game, I like the Atlanta money line against the Saints. I don't think the Saints are world beaters in their own right. I think this is probably going to be a muddy down, close 2017, nail-biting win for the Falcons, but I do think the Falcons are able to come out with the dub here.
Yeah, I mean, you're not really hanging onions going with a home dog or a 2-point home dog there. I think they were actually 1-point underdogs at one point. The lines since moved up So, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think of either of these teams because the Saints seem like they beat bad teams and like lose to good teams. But then again, like I don't know if Atlanta is a bad team or a good team. Like I have no idea what to think of either of
They're
these
mid.
two teams. So
Both are
yeah,
mid.
it's yeah, literally like the whole division is mid, and then
Yeah.
Carolina is bad. Obviously, like
Yeah.
we're like whoever wins this division is probably gonna have 9 wins max.
Yeah. It's probably going to be like a 10+ point loss in the wild card to the Cowboys. Like,
Yeah, or to the 49ers or whoever ends up securing the I guess they would be the 4 seed though, right? Yeah, so
yeah.
that would be brutal. Anyways, going nuts picks of the week here. I actually got back on track last week. I think I nailed my going nuts pick. I can't remember even who it was, but Derrick
Ayuk?
Henry is the guy that I'm rolling. Was it Ayuk?
I believe it was Ayuk. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so I'm rolling with Derrick Henry today. This is the type of matchup that I think Derrick Henry would succeed in. It's a bad run defense. Will Levis's 4-touchdown game, I don't think coincidentally came in a game that Derrick Henry rushed for 100 yards in. So I think the offense of Tennessee in general, who by the way has not lost at home all season, and they're playing the worst team in the NFL, at least in terms of record right now. I think we should be able to see a pretty big spike week out of Derrick Henry this week. So what are you rolling with for going nuts?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I also think Derrick Henry's in a very good spot. I feel like I'm going to go a little spicier here. I love the matchup for Ramondre Stevenson going up against the Giants. The Patriots are actually 4.5-point road favorites in this game. It's pretty remarkable when you think about it, considering that the Patriots are currently slated to pick 3rd overall in the draft. That's kind of just how Vegas views the New York Giants. I do think the game script here, if the Patriots get up early, they're going to rely upon that ground game. And I do think Ramondre Stevenson has a chance to score 1 or 2 times in this game. 20 PPR points for Ramondre feels kind of, out there, but when you contextualize the matchup, I do think that he has a really good opportunity in this game. If I had to score this myself, I'd probably give it about a 2 because it's not, completely out there, but at the same time, it's not like I'm going, completely bland.
Yeah, I would say these are probably both 2-pointers, but again, let us know down below. And if you guys are sensing my lack of energy, I literally I have a cold right now. It's like my 12th one of the fall by the sounds of it. We can close things out here with the safe play of the week, and then we'll get into your guys' questions here. So safe play of the week presented by Aura. Of course, check them out. Link down below in the description for cybersecurity needs met there, and especially this time of year. Isaiah Pacheco is my safe play of the week. I think you talked about how that Raiders Chiefs game might be a little bit closer in terms of the game script with Las Vegas there. I think regardless, though, you're going to take a guy with a 9-point home favorite, a 9-point favorite, not a home favorite. They're on the road. But he's getting a good workload. Jerick McKinnon, I believe, is actually out for this game, so maybe we'll see a little bit more in the route participation department for Isaiah Pacheco. I can't envision him not being like a 85 total yards, maybe he scores a touchdown type of play this week.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. Hopefully, for my sake, I do have Pacheco in our listener league, so hopefully he can have a nice game. But I do think very safe, really good chance to score a touchdown in this game. Again, I do think it's going to be a closer game, but you do trust the Vegas line when you project the rushing total. So I do like that for Isaiah Pacheco. My safe play of the week, and it's kind of just become a meme on the channel at this point because it seems like I always pick this guy when he's healthy, but I'll go with James Conner. I kind of just want to stick with the meme here. Obviously, the workload works in his favor. Kyler Murray back. The offense is going to be, better moving forward. And it's not the greatest, in terms of game environment for him, obviously being a home underdog in this game against the Rams. However, given the workload, given the fact that he didn't score last week, I do think he's able to punch it in and score 13, 14 PPR points like he always seems to do 85% of the time.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. James Conner is the type of guy that's just like always a top 24 running back. He hasn't actually been great so far this season since Kyler Murray's come back, but he's a pretty solid option this week. What can I say there? What's up?
Real quick, before we get into the questions, I have to address it. You mentioned it at the top. I'm enjoying this big time win against my rival yesterday. Obviously, Michigan taking down the Ohio State Buckeyes. And at the end of the day, this is just the way you got to describe it, man. I mean, we stood on our business, baby. We stood on business. Michigan stood on their business yesterday. I'm excited. I'm fired up. We got the Mohawk here and a big time Go Blue. This wouldn't be an FSE stream if it wasn't just me celebrating my team winning. So big shout out, Go Blue. You got to win next week against Iowa in that Big Ten championship, and you're probably getting a top 2 seed in the college football playoff if you do so.
Yeah, I feel like more than other like years, we have a lot of things that could change in the championship week because I mean, it's probably a long shot that my Texas Longhorns make the college football playoff. Like, I think Alabama would probably have to beat Georgia. I think Florida State
That
would
would
have
be
to
a
lose
tough
as
one for the
well.
committee.
It would be because we beat Alabama.
That's what I mean. It's like at one point, like, yeah, like Bama beating the two-time defending champion Georgia, like you would assume that you would probably get two SEC teams in because a one-loss Georgia, regardless, isn't going to miss it because they literally won the playoff each of the last 2 years. And then it's tricky because it's like at that point, like, well, you got Texas, you got the Pac-12 winner. Like, how are you deciding that? Because you want to put Bama in for winning the SEC championship, which they should be in. But then at that point, it's like, can you really leave out a one-loss Georgia after them literally not losing a game since the SEC title in 2021?
Yeah, I think the team that I got to root against as a Texas fan is Florida State. Like,
Yeah.
if Florida State loses, one of the Pac-12 teams is obviously going to lose, and whoever wins is probably in. Then it's Georgia
And Georgia,
Michigan.
you got to cheer for.
What's up?
You got to cheer Georgia beats Alabama too, because
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think they will personally.
I agree.
So Georgia, Michigan, and then the Pac-12 winner, and then one of Florida State and Texas are probably what the college football playoff is going to look like. I mean, our strength of schedule wise was better than Florida State's, and Florida State also doesn't have their starting quarterback. I don't imagine that factors in a ton to the decision. Like, I don't think you can really hold that against them right now, but I don't know.
It's so tricky to me because it's like if Florida State wins the ACC and they're an undefeated Power 5 champ,
you can't leave them out. Like, if they're undefeated, like you can't not put them in. Like, we lost the game. Like, it was a last second loss to Oklahoma, but like, I don't know. We also still have to beat Oklahoma State, which is like a team that we've notoriously struggled with too. So
meanwhile, there's still Ohio State fans thinking that they have a chance at the playoff. It's like you would need a chaos scenario for that. You would, if you're an Ohio State fan, you need Texas,
Texas, Florida State, and like, I mean, Georgia would have to win. Texas and Florida State would have to lose, and then even still, like the Pac-12 second place team or whatever might get in over Ohio State potentially.
The only way I see that, if Washington beats Oregon, I don't think they would put a 2-loss Oregon in.
Right, yeah, because I guess Oregon already lost to Washington earlier in the year, right?
Yeah, it'll be fascinating, man. I'm just in a great spot now where knowing as long as we handle our business against Iowa.
Which you should, because yours is the easiest matchup of the championship week for sure.
You know what the implied line is for that game, by the way?
I don't know. It's probably like 18.5 or something.
So the projected score based off Vegas odds right now, given the over-under, given the spread, is 28.75 Michigan. You want to know what Iowa's projected?
11.75.
5.75.
Oof, yikes.
How are you? Okay, it's a conference championship game. How are you projected to score less than 6 points? That is ridiculous. That might be the craziest stat I've ever heard.
You guys need to reshuffle your conference is what needs to happen.
It's a joke that the 3 best teams and arguably 3 of the top 8 or so teams, 10 or so teams in the entirety of college football are in the same division. Only one of them can play for the championship each year.
I mean, at least throw Penn State into the other conference.
Facts.
Or to the other division.
Yeah, facts. It's weird how they organized it because it's East and West, I guess, so it makes sense like from a geographical standpoint. But why even do divisions if this is just going to be the issue? Just do it like the Big 12, where you take the top 2 teams. By the way, Oklahoma losing to Oklahoma State also blessed you guys in the conference championship because now you get OK State instead of Oklahoma. Again, I think you're going to win regardless, but it's going to be. I thought it would be a closer game if it was Oklahoma rather than Oklahoma State.
Honestly, Oklahoma losing might actually impact their strength of schedule a little bit more.
That's fair. That's
because Oklahoma State, I don't like they're 3 losses or whatever. Like they're not that big of a powerhouse. If we had beaten Oklahoma, I think that would actually have been better for our chances to get in over Florida State potentially.
Well, with Oklahoma State, it's like they've played well 90% of the year, but 2 of their 3 losses, dude, they lost, I think, 33-7 to South Alabama. And they lost 45-3 to who they lose? UCF, I think, a couple weeks ago, 45-3. Like, those are just terrible losses, man.
Yeah, it's wild. Anyways, let's get to some of the questions that you guys have while we're picking our nuts here. Neil says, pick 3 boys: Bijan, Downs, Nico, Ford, Rice, Keaton. I'm going to roll probably with your first 3 there, Neil, with Bijan, Downs, and Nico. Ford is a decent play this week, but I think I'm going to roll with the game environment there with Downs and Nico over him.
Agreed. We got another one here from Omar. Appreciate that. He says 12-team half PPR, 2 flex starting Minshew. Tua was benched. That worked out really well for you because Tua, I believe, scored less than 10 points.
Yeah.
It's funny because in our listener league, I benched Tua for Dobbs, which looks like a great decision because
I
I
mean,
have
you're
Tyreek Hill.
also Omar's a fucking psycho for benching him for Minshew though.
Fair. I mean, it worked out. So I mean, I get at the end of the day, you can have the great process, but sometimes you just need the results, and he got the results. So kudos to him. Pollard, Pacheco, Sun God, Keenan Allen, Kincaid, Flex, Eckler, Gus, bench Ridley, Downs, Flowers. Replace Gus? Question mark. Zay Jones equals Ridley? Question mark. Charger secondary comes back equals Flowers? Question mark. So he's basically just trying to decipher how to set the
Yeah,
rest of
I
his
would play
lineup.
Ridley over Gus Edwards personally.
Yeah, I would too. I would go Flowers over both though.
Really, you'd play Flowers over Ridley and
Dude, with Mark Andrews out, he's
yeah.
probably
Oh no,
going to get
I
10,
don't think
11,
that's an
12
outrageous
targets.
take at all. I think the way that they used Ridley last week was definitely encouraging. I saw
Oh,
somebody
no
breaking
doubt.
it down. They were moving him around a little bit more in the formation instead of just like putting him at X and letting him. I think he saw press coverage at like 50% of his reps this year, which is like the highest among all wide receivers.
Yeah.
Also leading receivers in pass interference penalties drawn, basically for that reason because he's always getting harassed. For me, I would go Ridley over Flowers, but given the game environment there and no Mark Andrews, I think
PPR?
Flowers.
PPR lock it in?
Well, he says half PPR, so.
Oh, half PPR. Okay, fair. Half PPR lock it in?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So for reference, in full PPR, I have Flowers at 20 and Ridley at 27. Flowers is my start of the week, though. I love the matchup. Obviously, the Chargers very weak against the pass. Ravens implied for a ton of points. And Zay Flowers, like I said, in the 1 week we saw without Mark Andrews in this offense, in his first ever game in the NFL, we saw 10 targets. So I do think that.
Well, and I mean last week too.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews left early in that game, and he used a phantom holding penalty and another foot down away from having a 2-touchdown, 170-yard game, probably.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for Flowers moving forward. I really think he could be, a top 20, potentially even a top 15 option moving forward if we do see that usage uptick.
Yeah, for sure. Peter says Mondre, Addison, or Warren. Thanks, fellas. I would probably go with Ramondre Stevenson here.
Yeah.
I think he's probably my favorite option of this group. I mean, Addison's a good play as well because the Bears secondary is pretty weak. Warren, we got a report today that Pickens and Warren are going to be like more integral part of the offense. I don't know how much I'm buying into that right now. But for me, I think I would go with Ramondre Stevenson. But in full PPR, Addison's close.
Yeah, I mean, I'm buying into it because I do think he's the more efficient player. I do think Warren can move up moving forward. But like you kind of said, I love Mondre, love the workload here, love the matchup going up against the Giants. I mean, I literally have him as my going nuts pick of the week. So I am definitely going with Ramondre. We got one from Cody and one from Mo. So if you can find those, that'd be great.
Cody I'll take a look
Cody
for them.
Mo. Sounds good.
So I got Mo's here. Mo says need to Joe Mixon.
Here, you got it.
Need to Joe Mixon, Javonte Williams, half PPR, have Downs, Keaton Mitchell on the bench. I would play. This might be a hot take, but I would sit Mixon here, and I would play Javonte Williams and Josh Downs.
I don't hate that. I mean, Javonte is my RB24. Joe Mixon is my RB25 on the week, so I actually would agree with that.
Yeah, and yes, I am Bailey.
So fine,
people
Cody,
are giving me 3s for Henry, which is pretty wild.
What?
I'm seeing a lot of 2s as well. I'm looking for.
I saw 2s and 3s across the board for Stevenson and Henry. Like I feel like personally unbiased, I think those are both 2s.
Yeah, I agree. But anyways, Ben's a Michigan Wolves fan.
Let's go, baby,
here as well.
Yeah, amen. Real quick, addressing that 3 in a row. Ryan Day, when he got introduced in 2018, he literally said, he's like, our 3 goals at the University of Ohio State is to beat our rival, is to win after that, and is to win national championships. And guess what? You haven't been successful at doing any of those things. So if you're talking about a coach born on third base, like Jim Harbaugh referenced him, it would be, in fact, Ryan Day. You got your, Mickey Mouse win in 2019, COVID year 2020. You guys probably would have beat us, but guess what? That doesn't count on the record because we didn't play. Ever since COVID, though, it's been go blue all day. So I'm excited. Hopefully, Ohio State just gives them a lifelong extension. That would be awesome for me. But realistically, they're probably going to make a coaching change, I would say, because you have to beat Michigan if you're Ohio State. Just like in Michigan, you have to beat Ohio State.
Yeah, for sure. I cannot find Cody's question for the life of me. So Cody, if you want to re-ask it, I will find it at that point in time.
Yeah, re-ask it, and we will get right to it there, Cody. Appreciate that. Bogey says Flowers, A Coop, D Hop, Will Levis, and a super flex. These aren't good. Flowers is a good enough option, actually. I was looking at Coop and Hop. And Flowers versus Levis in a super flex. Like if this is a full PPR, it's very close. I think you got to go with the. I was gonna say I think you got to go with the quarterback. I wouldn't know. I would want to know who you're benching Flowers for at wide receiver and flex though. It's just like a quarterback, they're going to get 15 plus points on average, which as much as I love Flowers,
they're playing against a pretty bad team at home as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would want to know who your flex options / wide receiver options there are, Bogey, because that I want to get Flowers in my lineup. I just can't put him over Levis in the super flex.
Yeah, agreed. So back up to the top of the order here. We got Rolando. He says Dalton Schultz, Josh Downs, Javonte Williams, full PPR. I'm playing Josh Downs over Javonte Williams in full PPR. I think he was nearly my going nuts pick of the week. He's going to have a monster game, I think.
Appreciate that, Rolando.
Rolando says, appreciate the hustle, boy. Like and subscribe. Y'all, yes, definitely appreciate that. Canal says, what's up, guys? Trying to beat the wire for next week. Mayfield versus Carolina defense. Or there's absolutely zero realm of possibility that I start Kenny Pickett regardless of what defense he's going up against. So I will take Baker Mayfield there.
I would want to know what other options there are, because on one side, people don't give Carolina's defense respect to a certain point.
It's a good defense, but Baker Mayfield's a little revenge game for him. I think he's probably a safer projection.
I prefer him to Pickett.
I'm assuming Canal is a Josh Allen manager, and that's why he's asking this. What I did was I grabbed Trevor Lawrence off of the waiver wire last week so that I have Trevor Lawrence stashed for week 13 by the way. The Bengals, but
I got lucky too for what it's worth. I'm saying it's so lucky that you got Trevor Lawrence. I picked up Kyler Murray when he came back from injury, and he's just been sitting on my bench since. Also in my home league, because I'm without Kincaid, I picked up Hunter Henry to get ahead of the wire because he does play the Chargers next week.
I've been holding Dalton Schultz for like two or three games, so I'm just going to use him probably next week. Also, the guy that I'm playing against has like no Gabe Davis, no Justin Jefferson, no
next week,
Devontae Adams, no, like his whole team is on bye, and his team is already bad to begin with. Like the guy's legit going to be starting like Jaleel McLaughlin and Tyler Algier as his starting two running backs.
For sure. So Bogey actually has a quick follow up here to a super chat with Flowers. I definitely want to get Flowers probably in over Nico and Warren, to be honest.
I would definitely play him over Collins for sure.
Who would you sit between Warren and Nico in the flex? Because I think they're relatively similar range.
I would probably sit Warren. Actually, now that you mention it, in full PPR, I think I would sit Warren.
I think I would. Also, Cody said it's just above my super chat. Okay, perfect. So I'll just quickly get to it. Cody's super chat.
Apparently, I'm blind. I literally was looking for it and I couldn't find it.
Okay, yeah. I can't find it either. What? Oh, it does not show for us, Cody, actually. I'm just looking at it right now. It doesn't show. So if you want to re-ask it, we'll just get right to it because I'm looking at the bottom of the chat. So whatever your question was, feel free to rewrite it in the chat and we'll get to you.
Atomic Juices, PPR tight end premium, or half tight end premium. He says need to. DeAndre Hopkins, Joe Mixon, Trey McBride, and Dalton Kincaid.
D-Hop, Mixon, McBride. Kincaid.
I'm probably going D-Hop and Kincaid of those options there.
McBride and Kincaid.
Are you gonna play? The tight ends are intriguing in a half-point tight end premium, but I think I'm gonna play Hopkins over McBride.
I like McBride's projection more than I like D-Hop's, to be honest. So I'm gonna go with McBride and Kincaid, double tight end.
Yeah, I guess probably especially triple tight end if he's saying
With Brown, Brown's banged up with that heel injury. Even if he does play, he's probably going to be not 100%. Michael Wilson's already ruled out of the game. So I think McBride might just get like 9, 10, 11 targets.
We got a report too that says Kyron Williams will be the Rams lead back in week 12. Royce Freeman will also get carries.
Makes sense. But yeah, so Cody, feel free to follow that up and I will get to it for you.
Yeah, I'll rip it up to the top here.
Oh, he had to let his comment through. Spicy, what was his comment? Just type it in the chat and we'll highlight it. It just makes our job easier. Oh, by the way, here, let me send you the link. I forgot to do that.
Anyways, Lone Coyote in the meantime says, thanks so much for what you guys do. Appreciate it. And your advice through the year. And one of my leagues took me from last place, 1-4, to second place, 7-4. Damn,
let's go.
Great. Love to see that. Need one running back at a flex. Who should I start between Gus, Keaton Mitchell, Josh Downs, and Pop Douglas? I'm rolling Josh Downs for sure. And then the running back, I guess you have to start one, is probably Gus Edwards of the two Ravens guys there.
My bad. Sorry. Spicy. Sorry to hear that you're dealing with COVID, brother. Hopefully you feel better. I just saw your chat this
I wouldn't
morning.
be shocked if that's what I have also.
Really, eh? I mean, I don't leave the house, so I haven't gotten COVID, but that sucks.
It's brutal. I don't think it's COVID. It might be COVID. Who knows? Andrew says Tim Boyle in his 3-year collegiate career at Connecticut threw 1 touchdown and 13 INTs, yet the Jets are still throwing at 1st and goal at the 1. Yeah, dude, just hand the ball to Breece Hall. Like, honestly, like, it's so annoying.
It's actually insane.
I can't believe I tweeted like, hey, Tim Boyle just needs to not be awful, and this offense is going to be functional for Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. And apparently Zach Wilson was the right pick the whole time in terms of the quarterback they should have been starting.
Fair. By the way, so Spicy says this was Cody's comment. All I got to say is fuck Charbonnet. I should have never switched Javonte. Dude's going to make me regret it highly this week. Also, brutal week. Goff and St. Brown somehow salvaged it, but Breece and Sharp. Yeah, so real quick on Charbonnet. If you're in a full PPR, he didn't have that terrible of a game. I think he had like 10 PPR points. And realistically, it's like Javonte could do better because Javonte obviously is a good player, but at the same time, 10 PPR points against the Browns defense is probably about what Javonte will score anyways.
Yeah, it's I mean, those two guys were literally ranked back to back for me coming into the week, and we didn't get if Charbonnet scores, which he almost did. We would have had. I would have loved that. Yeah, we would have had a much better game there. Also, because I had Ayuk and Charbonnet going in that game in my home league, and Ayuk also there was a play from Witherspoon where he knocks it away from Ayuk, which would have been a sure touchdown there as well. I guess Ayuk scored later in the game, but I was annoyed with that one too.
Sorry, I gotta get to Bailey's comment because it's actually so true. Man goes to Cleveland. It says he doesn't leave the house. That's actually a very fair point. I was literally in Cleveland last week, and I'm saying I don't leave the house.
Also for next week, Tampa D versus Carolina or Falcons D versus the Jets. I'm probably going to just target the Jets if I can.
I mean, if Tim Boyle's starting again, which is what it sounds like, give me the Falcons defense, dude.
I'm actually so pissed. I had a parlay with Dolphins defensive touchdown in it, and I took them out.
Dude, real question. Would Tim Boyle start in the CFL?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't know who Tim Boyle is friends with. Hackett, I guess?
It has to be Rodgers and Hackett because he was on Green Bay. But, dude, you can't convince me that Nathan Rourke signed off the Jags practice squad couldn't have given you better quarterback play than what Tim Boyle gave you on Friday.
Yeah.
Like Nathan Rourke at least has some arm talent.
Probably a number of teams out there with 3 better quarterbacks on them than Tim Boyle.
Easily. And like, again, like I don't want to make it about, supporting the Canadian and a guy I played against, but at the same time, it's like, at least he showed that he can throw the ball in the preseason. What has Tim Boyle ever showed?
No, nothing. He literally wasn't good in college, and he isn't good now.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. Mitch says Derrick Henry or Saquon. Also pick 2 wide receivers: Devontae Smith, Rashid Shaheed, Chris Godwin, or Josh Downs. Okay, so running back wise, I'm gonna probably lean Barkley over Henry, even though I think that Henry is a great play this week. And then he also
you played Barkley over Henry.
Yeah, I have Barkley over Henry right now.
Where do I have them? I have Henry at 14. I have Barkley at 19. So what is the scoring of this? Because I'll actually do that bet.
We'll just, I don't know, maybe we just do half PPR, I guess. He didn't specify. Sure. In terms of the wide receivers, I'm going Devontae Smith and Josh Downs there of those 2 options. And then he said, should I be starting Justin Fields? Yeah, he's a fine starter this week.
What was the first bet we made, by the way? Forgot to write it in.
Fuck, I don't remember.
Let us know if you guys remember the first one we did, because I remember it was Zay versus someone. Zay versus Calvin Ridley. Half PPR. Yeah. All right. I'll write that in. You get to the next question.
Lumber says start 1 full PPR. Deontay. I don't have to see anything else. Deontay Johnson's the guy I'm going with there. Lumber. Current running back lineup is Bijan, Ford, Kyron, Flex, wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, and Drake London. I have Myers and Amari Cooper on the bench, as well as Javonte Williams. Should I switch anything up? I personally would play Javonte Williams over Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
That would be the only change that I would make, though.
I mean, for what it's worth, we were talking about them as a pick-on spot earlier in the year, but I mean, kudos to the Broncos defense. Like they started, I believe, 1-5, hit that switch, man, and now they're a legitimate wild card type of contender in the AFC now. Like, who would have thought the Broncos would be in the AFC mix with the head-to-head tiebreaker against the Bills at this point?
Yeah, that's crazy. They actually did beat the Bills. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He also says he's projected down 20. Yeah, roll with the workload of Javonte then for sure.
Yeah. Start sit Minshew,
Tridents,
Stafford.
yes. I would
I'll go
play
between Stafford
Stafford
and
of these
Minshew.
options probably, but Minshew's also a decent option.
I have Stafford at 16, Minshew at 20, so I actually would go with Stafford as well. I also like Baker Mayfield this week.
Yeah, I like Mayfield as well. Sarah says sit one, Chase Olave.
Sitting Addison.
Yeah, you're sitting Addison there.
Yep. So we got a couple supers. Actually, we got one super here. Flex 2, Taysom, Chase, Nico, Bijan, Javonte. RBs have tough matchups. Regardless, though, Bijan's for sure going in my lineup, and so is Chase.
Yeah, that's probably where I'm at too.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the super chat, Jason.
Currently sad Elijah Moore truther. Yeah, same. Full PPR. Hope Hollywood plays and flex Ty Chandler if he doesn't, or start Pickens. I mean, Hollywood is expected to play. I saw a report that said he's going to play.
I'm worried about Hollywood, even if he plays, bro. It was a midweek heel injury. He's been questionable, hasn't logged a full practice at all. Like, it's sketchy. Even if he plays, like, will he be on a pitch count? Will he be used as a decoy? Like, I'm kind of concerned about that, to the point where he hasn't been great, but I think I would just go Pickens.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, I suppose. It's not like an outrageous take.
Yeah, that is tough, though. That is a tough decision. Got one from Gavin. He says, Evan Ingram or Trey McBride. I'm definitely going with Trey McBride. Also, just want to say, because of the channel, I'm first place in every single one of my leagues. Thank you, Corey and Danny. Keep up the great work. Yeah, I appreciate that, Gavin. Glad that we were able to help you on your road to being in first place. So
yeah,
I'm assuming you go McBride as well.
Yeah, I would go with McBride.
Yes, sir. Hopefully McBride goes off for you.
Yeah, I got to find where I was at here. Need 2 flex fellers. Oh yeah, we already
just supered that.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of Collins, Javonte, Deontay, or Godwin full PPR. This is a tough one, man. I think I go Collins of these options.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Collins. I'll also appreciate the kind words, Lumber. And I mean, an OG of the channel, so shout out there. Lumber's been around for a couple years now, it feels like. So appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Good morning. Good morning.
What's going on? Rashad White or Jalen Warren given the injury report? Rashad White should be a full go. I'm still playing him.
Ooh, tidbit on that. So he actually clarified the injury. Apparently, they were asked upon the injury because he popped up late on the injury report, and they said it was just a precaution. He said he's ready to go. He's feeling healthy. I don't really expect any concerns in terms of his workload, so I would go with Rashad. Start one, Singletary, Deontay Johnson, or Chuba full PPR. Singletary, Deontay's close. You got a lean here? Singletary versus Deontay?
I'd probably go Deontay, given that Pierce is going to be playing.
That's a good tidbit. Yeah, no, I'd go Deontay then. Forgot he got ruled in.
Yeah. Wanye says full PPR, Drake London, Deontay Johnson, or Josh Downs. I'm probably going to sit Deontay.
Sitting Deontay.
There.
Yeah, I would sit Deontay as well. Got one from AJ. At this point in Dynasty, Pickett or Stafford?
Stafford.
Yeah. Look how far we've come.
Yeah, I mean, AJ's been trying to sell me Pickett in our Tone Setters League for like weeks now, and I'm just like, no. Like, I don't want him.
Dude, it's like he would ask like a third for Pickett. He'd be like, at least a third can get me a useful player.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would take him for a third, but like he wants Howell. He wants Howell. We're trying to like work something. I'm like, I don't want to give up Howell for Pickett. Like, I prefer Howell by a lot.
Mostly just joking on that. But yeah, with Pickett, it's gone to the point, man, where if you're the Steelers, like, are you not in the Kirk Cousins talks? Are you not in the trade talks for Kyler, for Fields, for anybody, man? Like, you kind of know what you have with Pickett.
I would be shocked if the Steelers went into next season with Pickett as their starter.
This might sound like such slander, and if you're a Steelers fan, you might want to cover your ears. But if you had to start a game tomorrow, you're the Steelers, with either Kenny Pickett or Zach Wilson at your quarterback spot, are you seeing a discernible difference?
No, not really. I mean, Pickett's playing behind a much better offensive line than Zach Wilson's playing behind, with a better cast of receivers and running backs too.
It's gross. And by the way, that is not like Zach Wilson propaganda. That's more so Kenny Pickett just sucks.
No, Pickett's just that bad, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Got a super chat here from Patty. Appreciate that. He says full PPR, Addison or Hollywood. Lad is goated. Appreciate that. This is a friend from home, so appreciate that. I would go with Jordan Addison today. Hollywood dealing with that heel injury, popped up midweek. A little bit concerned there. Not to mention, even if he was fully healthy, I think I prefer the game environment this week for Jordan Addison. Very advantageous matchup going up against Chicago. A little bit worrisome based off how Dobbs was as a passer last week, but I do think this is a get-right spot for the Vikings offense. And Addison's disappointed 3 weeks in a row, but I do think this is the spot where you see, right back to that succinct production he was giving you even just a month ago.
Yeah, I'm probably on the same page there. I unfortunately did put Marquise Brown in a parlay with an alternate receiving yards line of 70 plus. So I'm not, I for some reason I did that. Don't ask me why. I shouldn't have done it.
That's scary, man. That's scary.
Yeah.
What's his projected line at this point? I'm curious what underdog has him at, given the news.
I think DraftKings had him at 48.5 or something like that.
Seems about reasonable, and I'm assuming Addison would be higher than that too, right? 48.5.
Yeah, probably about even.
Yeah, like let me see if I go to the pick'ems real quick. If I go to NFL here, you can get to the next question, by the way, and then I'll get to this.
Master Samurai says, "Who's a good rest of season defense being overlooked?" I will talk about that probably on Tuesday, give or take, when I do the mustache players for the fantasy playoffs video that I do every year. So I'll talk about all the running backs that you're going to want to stash and all the young players you're going to want to stash, and I'll also touch on quarterbacks and defenses with good playoff schedules in that video as well.
Yes, sir. Got a super here from Lewis. He says, start Kyler or T-Law on a 4-point passing touchdown. In a 4-point passing league, I got to go with Kyler Murray. Yeah, just because of legs.
Yeah, I'd go with Kyler as well, but I don't mind Lawrence.
Relatively close. Yeah, no, I don't mind Lawrence at all either, to be honest. I just think Kyler Murray, he's picked up the mobility that we expected coming into the season. So shout out. Sorry, I was just reading some comments while I was saying that. We got one from Ab. He says, didn't put it in my super chat, but this is his question. Forward Warren or Nico in his flex. Didn't put it in my super chat. I would go Nico.
I'm going to go with Collins.
Yeah, I'd go with Nico there.
I like Warren this week, though.
I do. Yeah. I do like Warren. I kind of just want to see what his workload looks like before I prop him too high in my running back rankings. But fringe top 25-ish play at the position, I like him. But with a guy like Nico Collins, the game environment today for the Jags Texans should be really, really nice. Talked about it in the wide receiver show, but I wouldn't be shocked if all of these wide receivers balled out because I do think each team's going to rely upon that passing attack.
Yeah, this question is literally like whatever one we tell you to start is going to be wrong. Because they're all relatively.
I'd go
close.
London.
The guy that process would dictate you get to is Godwin, probably because
of
the game environment and the over under and the matchup that he has. But I also really like London this week too, so they would be kind of neck and neck for me. But I would probably start Godwin.
So I talked about this with the wide receivers show, but with Drake London, we really saw him turning the page on his production prior to getting hurt. He just had the bye week to get fully healthy. In weeks 4 to 8, he was commanding over a 26% target share and was legitimately a wide receiver 2 in fantasy. So assuming he's fully healthy, assuming he's fully back, I do think that he can get back to that top 20 level status he was showing. So tough matchup, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, they're at home. And we've seen he was doing that with Desmond Ridder. It's not like Taylor Heineke came in and he saw a big uptick. Like he was showing that production in weeks 4 to 8 with Desmond Ridder at the helm. So while it's a negative having Ridder, he's shown that he could produce and gets leaned upon when it comes to Ridder being the starting quarterback there. So I do like that. Got a member comment here from Corey. Appreciate that member for 19 months. He says, my quarterbacks are Mac Jones, Bryce Young, Jake Browning, and DTR. Who's he starting?
Ugh.
Oh, that's gross.
Probably Bryce Young.
Yeah, you probably go Bryce. Go Bryce there.
I think you got to go Bryce there, given that he's I'd say the most talented quarterback there, and also the Titans are bad against the pass.
Yep, for sure. Jonathan says Jalen Warren or Jordan Addison PPR flex in. I'm going Addison in PPR.
Yeah, I would take Addison there as well.
For sure. By the way, Trident, I see your super sticker. Appreciate that. If you have a comment, feel free to leave it, and I'll get down to it as soon as you comment it. We can go back to the top.
All right. Johnny says Herbert, Kyron Williams, or Javonte Williams. I'm assuming that is. Pick one full PPR. I'm going to roll with Javonte there, but Kyron would be close.
Full PPR. Let's lock it in.
You want to take Kyron over Javonte?
I'm taking Kyron all day.
Yeah. All right. I'll be back in 1 second. I got to go blow my nose. It's fucking acting up.
Sounds good, boss. Let me just write in PPR. Perfect. So feel free to Okay, I'll take a look down there when we get to it. Also keep a look on these supers. Let me just go back to where we left off. Okay. Where is Johnny's question? What are we doing here? Okay, I feel it. Let's fucking go. Sunday is here. Yes, sir, Gavin. Sunday is here. Got one from Tajay. He says from Bailey. Sorry. Got one from Bailey. He says Tajay Spears or Wan'Dale Robinson. I think I'm going to go with Tajay there. I don't really like the passing offense this week for the Giants. That's gross. Wow. Currently at 7-3, tied for best record. The squad is Josh Allen, Pollard, Gibbs, Amonra, Diggs, Judy, and Pitts. The rest of my bench isn't good. What moves do you suggest? I'm trying to upgrade at tight end and flex. It's kind of tricky. I mean, you got advantages at quarterback. You got the advantage at the running back, and your top 2 wide receivers are really studly. There's not much I would say, man. Just rely upon your studs, especially if this is a more shallow league. If you got a bunch of flex spots, maybe you can break it down a little bit. But I think you're fine here. You're 7-3. You're winning games. You have the best record, and you have distinct advantages at those spots. So nothing that really suggests I should move off of it at this point. Pacheco or Olave in a full PPR. I got to go with Olave in the PPR. Got to go with Olave in PPR. Ridley, DJ Moore, or Rashad White PPR. I think I'm going to go with Rashad. Love the matchup. Love the game environment there. I have Rashad White, I believe, as my RB15 this week. So you're not going to hear me. Sorry, Harper. You're not going to be hearing me hype up Rashad White much, but I do love the matchup this week for him. How should I feel about Dolphins running backs and Bijan rest of the season? I don't know what to do with both. My team couldn't trade Mostert. I think you're in a good spot. I think regardless, the Dolphins rushing attack is going to be able to give you at least RB2 production, assuming A-Chain comes back. Yeah, both A-Chain and Mostert, I think they are both, like I said, RB2 level projections when both of them are in the field. They're very efficient. The Dolphins running game is really, really nice. And I mean, Bijan Robinson, you already know our thoughts. We love him as a top, even if you're lower on him, top 8 overall running back, top 5 overall running back for us rest of the season. What's up, y'all? Would you trade Chase for one of Fields? 1-for-1 for Fields, have Baker and Minshew currently, and JJ Olave and Sutton as my other wide receivers. I would still hold on to Jamar Chase. It feels like that would be selling low. A lot of pessimism right now based off the injury to Joe Burrow. I just think at this point, I wouldn't trade him for Fields. Swift or DJ Moore and flex need upside. I might even screw it up because I forced the start of Charbonnet because I want to have a reason to watch the game. LOL. Yeah, no worries. I would definitely go with DeAndre Swift there, Price. Definitely go with DeAndre Swift. So we left off at Price. We do have a couple supers here. My apologies. I'll try to get back up. Devontae or Ramondre rest of the season. Or Devontae or Ramondre this week. I would still go with Devontae, but I do love Ramondre a lot. I would want to know who your other running backs are, but give me Devontae in a full PPR. 10-team standard start 3, Keenan, Addison, Adams, Pittman. So you're starting Keenan for sure, no doubt about it. You are sitting Jordan Addison, in my opinion, there, Alfredo. You're sitting Jordan Addison. So we left off, I believe, at Price. I'll remember that. Skip super chat. Yeah, no, our apologies right now. I'm trying to manage everything here. I asked you real quick if you wanted the follow-up. He says start sit Herbert Dobbs and start sit half PPR Mondre Dell. I would definitely go with Justin Herbert out of these two. They're relatively close though. If I check it right now, I believe I have Justin Herbert at 9, and I have who's the other one? Josh Dobbs. I have him at 11. So it's although it's pretty close, I would still go with Justin Herbert and start sit half PPR Mondre or Dell. I don't want to sit Tank Dell, to be honest. That's close. So in a half PPR, you probably have to.
No, I would play Dell over him. Don't care.
Half?
Yeah, I would still do it.
Yeah, probably. I can't watch a 20 plus point game on my bench if Tank Dell goes
yeah,
off,
literally.
to be honest. He looks so good, dude. $4.99 from Speedy. Appreciate that. If you have a question, feel free to follow up. I'll get to it as soon as you comment it. What are the first picks next year for 2024? Rookie class is curious to see with Jaden Daniels playing extremely well. So right off the bat right now for projecting forward, you know the top 3, regardless of landing spot, are going to end up being Caleb, Drake May, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Those are your top 3 picks right off the bat. Where do the quarterbacks sit in? Because, again, you got Neighbors, you got Brock Bowers.
I would group Neighbors into the top 4, to be honest.
Fair. And I think Bowers has to be up there too. So then at that point, it's like if we get one or two more first round quarterbacks, you probably got to put them in the mid first round as well. So who ends up being the 106?
It would also depend what the running backs do at the combine and what kind of draft capital they get. Because I mean, if Travion Henderson gets top 50 draft capital to a decent landing spot and he tests well at the combine and all that stuff, like, I think people will talk themselves into Travion Henderson at like 105, 106.
Process wise, man, I can't start him or I can't pick him over a first round quarterback. Like if Jaden Daniels,
as of right now, if I had to say like who the top 6 picks are, I would probably veer away from a third quarterback because I don't think it's a guarantee that Penix goes in the first round. I don't think it's a guarantee that JJ goes in the first round or Daniels goes in the first round or whatever. So I think I would probably say that my top 6 right now is the 2 quarterbacks, Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers, and then it's probably Xavier Worthy for me right now, but the running back 1 could like easily figure their way into that, or any other quarterback that goes in the first round.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos to this class, by the way, because I mean, the wide receivers now you can really make the argument that 10 might go in the top 50 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and I just because I like Worthy, like Odunze and Ngbuka and Franklin and and Coleman and these guys, they're all going to be highly decorated dudes as well. It's just kind of what happens in the draft that will dictate where they go.
Yeah, no, for sure. It will be fascinating. For the record, by the way, if Jaden Daniels does get like top 20 capital, like he's got a really nice profile, man.
I know, but it's a little bit worrisome given his size.
His size and his age,
185 pounds, and he's also 23, right? Like, I mean, I'm not super hung up on age with quarterbacks because we've seen it, play out positively that these guys just get better and better as their college careers go along. And I mean, the easy connection obviously is that he went to LSU and Joe Burrow did the same thing later on in his college career. But at the same time, like, the size is actually the thing I'm more worried about. I think not that I think he'll not hold up running. I just think the NFL teams will not like it and then won't draft him in the first round as a result.
Question I have real quick is Jalen Milroe eligible?
I think technically, but he's probably going to go back to school. Yeah, like I mean, really Shadur Sanders and Jackson Dart are technically eligible also, but I don't think any of them are coming out.
Like I was going to say, I mean, like this quarterback room is going to be really fascinating to see who actually declares and who not. Because I don't think
I'd put good money that Quinn goes back to school. I'd put good money that Shadur is going. I think it's already been announced that Shadur is going back to school.
Pretty much.
It's actually I'm pretty sure it's been announced that Quinn's going back to school too.
Yeah.
And then I think I don't think anybody was excited about Dart as a quarterback prospect in this class. I think everybody assumed he'd be 2025, but
the one
Penix to me is the clear favorite for like quarterback 3, just because we've heard buzz consistently about him. But also I've heard people say that the medicals might drop him today too. So I don't know.
Well, the one I was gonna point out is like JJ McCarthy, for example. Like I don't think it's a non-zero chance that he does. Like hypothetically, if he goes to the NFL board and they say, hey, listen, like they want to see you with more passing volume, they don't feel comfortable taking you in the first round, you're probably going to be a second round pick. If he hears he's going to be a second round pick, he can just say, well, fuck that. Let me go back to Michigan. Corum's going to be gone. Donovan Edwards most likely going to declare as well. This is going to be my offense moving forward, and I can display first-round caliber traits because we've seen that the NFL hasn't really dinged quarterbacks for their age. Like we usually look at, the running backs and the wide receivers. They want those early declares. They want those, true juniors, for redshirt sophomores. Those are the guys that they're going to prioritize.
Dude, I think especially for quarterback, there's actually coaches out there that prefer seniors,
older players. Yeah,
because
they don't get rattled.
Well, that and they get to work with them at the Senior Bowl too.
Yeah, that's very fair. Very fair. It will be fascinating who actually commits, but we can get back to the comments.
Well, I will say this quarterback class is starting to dwindle down a little bit in terms of the strength of it.
Yeah, for sure. Jonathan says, from my super chat, I have a super flex league. I started Breece Hall. I have Bijan, and I started Amon and Ayuk. Adams or Stevenson would be my flex. I'd definitely go Devontae Adams.
Yeah, so
definitely go Devontae. Full PPR, Gus Edwards, Singletary, or Gabe Davis from Rory.
I'm taking Gabe Davis. I think this is the type of game you want to start Gabe Davis in. Eagles are bad against the pass. Josh Allen's going to have to throw. They're not going to be able to run the ball. This is a Gabe Davis game. I always say this with Gabe Davis. You can see him coming.
You can, but at the same time, I don't think it's as clear now with Shakir emerging.
Okay, well, let me say this: Singletary has Damian Pierce in his backfield already.
Fair.
Now,
it would
Gus
be between
Edwards
him and
is
Gus.
a touchdown merchant, so he loses some value in full PPR.
Against the Chargers, he's a touchdown merchant.
I know. He could definitely punch in a touchdown or two. He's
And-
literally got like 2 goal line carries a game for the last like 5 weeks. But I'm taking Gabe Davis here. This is a Gabe Davis game.
All right, let's chalk it in. We'll do Gus Edwards versus Gabe Davis. I'm not only solely doing this because I play against Gus Edwards in my home league, but I think he scores against the Chargers, man. I'll lock it in.
Even if he does, though, he's gonna have like 14 carries for like 50 yards and a touchdown. It's like 11 PPR points. Like Gabe Davis can get there on a couple catches.
He could. This is. I don't know. I'll lock it in. I'll go Gus. You can write it down.
Yeah, I got it.
Half PPR Rashad or Addison with Rashad injury. I'd go with Rashad White there, Benjamin.
Yeah, I would as well.
Start 2 PPR Najee, Hollywood, Downs. Are you going with a banged up Hollywood over Najee still, right?
Yeah, I would. I would go Downs
Yeah,
and
so
Hollywood here.
Yeah, so would I. Okay, fair. Sean, if you have a question, feel free. I'll get to it at the bottom here. Just leave it down below.
Can we also have one
that.
from someone else too? Speedy.
Who's the other one? Yeah, Speedy. Speedy. Did he end up commenting? Doesn't look like he did.
I don't know. I'm holding the spot. This is
Fair.
all on you.
Fair. You hold the spot. I'll keep looking. But Speedy and Sean, if you have Sean actually just updated, but Speedy as well. If you have a question, feel free to leave it. Appreciate the super sticker. He says, read Beckham Flowers rest of the season, and would you start them over Thielen? So this week I would go with Thielen. I just love the volume perspective there for Carolina's offense.
I would rather have Flowers rest of the season.
Rest of the season, I think that's close. I think you can make the argument. I don't think you can make the argument for Reed or Beckham over Thielen, but I think you can make the argument for Flowers with Mark Andrews out there. You'd prefer them over Thielen. However, I mean, I think that was 2 separate questions regardless. I wouldn't start them over Thielen this week, and if Flowers over Beckham and Reed easily for me rest of the season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we got an update from Speedy real quick. I meant to ask who to start in a 10-team non-PPR league. Josh Allen's, Diggs, and Allen are locked in. Keenan Allen, I'm assuming, because there's 2 Allens.
Yeah.
Jalen Warren, Ridley, Ford, Kyron, Madison. In a non-PPR, I'm starting Kyron all day, every day.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many of these you can start, but I would rank them. Calvin Ridley, Kyron Williams,
non-PPR, Ridley over
Jerome Ford, and Alexander Madison. Yes.
Ridley over Kyron?
Yes.
Lock it down. Lock it down.
I mean, I already have a Ridley bet, and you already have a Kyron bet. If you want to do that, we can.
I am so down in a non-PPR, man. I think Kyron is going to score 1 or 2 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to build out a 3 touchdown score parlay. So who do you think is getting into the end zone today? And I'll farm it out to the chat. Try and make it like not a Derrick Henry or like somebody that's like obvious, like somebody that's like a plus 150-ish area.
Fair. Full PPR, JT or Rashad White from Apollo. I got to go with Jonathan Taylor still.
Yeah, I would go with Taylor as well, but it's a tough matchup, obviously.
Flex 1, Cup, Hollywood, Sutton, Kmet.
Cup's in your lineup if he plays, which it sounds like he's going to be.
Yeah.
And you just pick Hollywood if not.
Must win and need to squeeze out every single point. KC versus LV or Pitt versus Cincinnati defense.
Pittsburgh, 100%.
Yes,
yeah, I'm going Jake Browning. I'm targeting Jake Browning for sure.
So if we're looking at the implied points this week, shout out, by the way, to the Weekly Rankings Manifesto. You do a great job getting that information. In terms of the implied points on the slate, if we sort it by that, the Bengals are implied for 17 points with Jake Browning, and the Raiders are implied for 17.25. So that would be the difference there. Not to mention, I think, I don't know.
Turnover. I always look for turnover-prone nature of the quarterback they're going up against, because the Steelers are the type of defense that can house a pick six or get a strip sack.
Watch strip sack.
You know what I mean? Like
Chiefs
are
are
the
more
type
of
of
like
defense that you get a mistake-prone quarterback, he could really unravel, and that's why I would prefer them.
I would agree. However, I will say Aiden O'Connell has turned the ball over at times this year. It is a close question for the record, but I would still go with Pittsburgh as well.
And I would go. I personally would. I think we got weather conditions in Philly, don't we?
Yeah, just go with Matt Gay.
I would go with Matt Gay, just given that we have weather conditions in Philadelphia.
Agreed there. So you got where we left off. I'll read some of these comments here because we do have a couple bets for your slip. McBride anytime touchdown, Dell anytime touchdown, and likely to get a touchdown. No pun intended.
Second one, sorry.
McBride, Dell, and likely.
Okay. Yeah, I like those. Keep firing those down. I'm gonna do I'm
Yeah.
gonna do a three parlayer.
Got another one from Maya. Appreciate that. Start 2 PPR. Nico, Pittman, DJ Moore, or Puka. Puka's not leaving my lineup. I love him this week. And then it's going to be Michael Pittman for me.
Yeah, I really, really would like to get DJ Moore into my lineup, but I would still play Pittman over him.
Yeah. For what it's worth with DJ, it's also a relatively tough matchup. However, at the same time, the splits with him and Justin Fields have been dominant. So I do want to get him in. It's just Puka and Pittman are too good of options, I think.
Yeah, I'm curious what the line on Isaiah Likely to score a touchdown is. See, I can get Zay for plus 190 and Likely is plus 200. So I'm taking Zay any day of the week.
Fair.
Likely just is not good in my opinion. So I'll take Zay instead.
Godwin, Downs, Gabe Davis, flex. I'm going with Josh Downs.
Yes, I would go with Josh Downs as well. And then Flowers, Gus Edwards, Downs flex, 2 of them. So I'm sitting Gus Edwards, as crazy as that sounds. I like Flowers and Downs better.
Yeah, that's
he's like, I'm in too many leagues. LOL, don't worry. So are we.
Good.
Flowers, Ridley, Downs flex 3. I mean, okay, I'm assuming maybe it's not pick 2, it's just his second question. So if I had to pick one of those guys in that second question, I would pick Flowers.
Yeah, I agree.
And then
Flowers, Downs,
if you wanted to diversify a little bit because you're playing Flowers in the second league and you wanted to play Ridley over Flowers, I wouldn't hate that, but I that's close. Like I personally would play Ridley over Flowers in the third league.
I mean, if you want to diversify, I don't mind that. Because I mean, if you start one guy and bench one guy in both leagues, if he goes off, you're going to be pretty upset on your bench.
Go all or nothing and play Flowers everywhere.
Depends. Like how your biscuits feeling today.
Yeah, I mean, technically, you could play Downs across the board.
There you go. If you got some biscuits, that'd be a fun rip. But I'd go Downs, Flowers, and Ridley probably just to spread it out. You got where we left off.
Yeah. Did you answer any of these questions when I was gone? Up here?
Yeah, I left off at Price 33 Bear was the last one I read.
Okay.
Pretty good memory there.
So you had this one, Swift.
That's the last one I read. Yeah, I read
perfect. Dylan says Denver DST versus Browns or Titans DST versus Carolina. I think I want Denver DST there, but that's close.
Going up against DTR. Yeah, that's going to be like a 13-10 drizzler.
Yeah. And then as far as the kicker question, I think I like Dicker there. Of those two options.
Yeah, give me Dicker.
Taysom Hill or Evan Ingram. I think I'd roll with Ingram. He's been the more consistent option.
Half PPR. Yeah, if it was standard, I'd probably go Taysom for the spike week, but Ingram's involvement, not to mention, like I said, the game atmosphere for the passing attacks on both ends is going to be pretty nice. We got another one from Sean. I have Downs, Thielen, Ridley, and Flowers on my bench. Who's my flex? Your flex is still going to be Thielen for me.
Yeah, Thielen's the best option in that group.
Yeah, and Speedy, we've been asking for your question for a while, so feel free to leave it, and we'll
just re-ask it. We couldn't find it.
Re-ask it. We couldn't
just re-ask it, and we'll get to it.
Yeah, for sure. No, we've addressed that a couple times.
Yeah, Keith says PPR. Would you pick up and play Greg Dortch over Tajay Spears and George Pickens? No, I would. I mean, if you have to start both of those guys, I would play them both. But if you had a choice, I would play Pickens over the other two options.
I would too.
For you start sits, all full PPR. Number 1, pick one flex. Hollywood, Downs, Hunt, James Cook. I would play Hollywood of that, Downs of that option because of the Hollywood injury. Pick one, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley. That is fucking close. I gotta look who I have ranked higher.
DJ Moore, Ridley. I have DJ Moore higher.
I also have DJ Moore higher, so he'd be the guy that I would roll with. Pick one running back, Ford or Singletary or James Conner. That one's easily James Conner for me there. And then number 4, Odell, Amari Cooper, Keaton Mitchell, Ty Chandler. I'm rolling with Amari Cooper in that group.
Yeah, I don't feel great about any of those.
I don't either, but you got to play them, I think. Josh says, what's good, boys? Start one, Shaheed, KJ Osborne, Khalil Herbert, Rashee Rice. I'll probably go Herbert there because we got no Deontay Foreman on Monday night by the looks of it.
I would Herbert, Rice, and Shaheed are relatively close all around for me in a full PPR.
Yeah, they'd be close for me too. I think I'll just take the volume with Herbert.
You probably have to, but man, if Rashee Rice sees his snaps go up, I think he's gonna He's gonna
Yeah,
go.
I've been waiting for that for 10 games.
No, exactly. That's why you got to go Herbert from a process standpoint. It's just I would be so upset if this was
I think
the
with
week that
Rice,
he
you
went
got to
off.
just wait until it happens, and then you can react accordingly.
Yeah, I would agree. That's good process. Kirk or Nico, same game. I would actually take Christian Kirk here.
Yeah, I would as well.
We got one from Noah. By the way, again, Speedy, feel free to leave your comment here, and we'll get to it as soon as possible because
I'll go look for his too, see if I can find it.
Yeah, or just retype it here, and I'm at the bottom of the super chat so I can see it, or bottom of the live chat so I can see it. Noah says 4-point passing touchdown, Stroud or Fields. I would go with Justin Fields here.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yeah, in a 6-point, I think you could make the case for Stroud, but in a 4-point, I mean, we saw a quarterback with 18 rushing attempts last week. Can't sit him.
What color is Speedy's logo?
He's a purple S.
Okay.
Oh, he left it. He left it here. Perfect. Josh Allen, Keenan Allen, Diggs, Warren, Ford, McBride, Kyron Williams. Benches Madison, Ridley, Engram. Any changes? I definitely would go with Ridley over Ford. And that's the change, unless you want to put Madison
so put
Warren.
Kyron in your second RB spot, and then put Ford in your flex, and then take him out for Ridley.
Yep, fully agree there. And I would also go with Warren over Madison, I think, personally.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yeah. So
Ingram versus McBride is close, though, also.
I go with McBride, but I think you make I think you make more of an argument of Ingram in your flex over Warren or Madison than you could over McBride, personally.
I would play Warren for sure over him.
Oh, I would, but that's what I mean. Like I just think McBride is probably very likely to get 10 plus targets at tight end.
Yeah. Is there anybody else leaving touchdown scorer bets that you can see?
Let me see the touchdown scores.
So right now the slip is Trey McBride and Zay Flowers. I need one more that I like, then we'll put them in.
You probably don't want to, because Christian also said Kyler rushing, but if you already put McBride in there, that kind of you're asking a lot for that game.
Put them both in.
I thought you put Flowers in.
I did. I want to get one in from like one of these higher scoring games, like Jags Texans or Buccaneers Colts or
what's Shakir odds?
I'm not fucking with Shakir.
You don't like Shakir, bro. He's been better than Gabe Davis.
That's fine. I don't want to play him as a touchdown scorer.
I mean, I am curious what his odds are though. He's probably like pretty juiced up.
360.
That's fucking solid. Wow.
Gabe Davis is 230, and I might take it.
Fair.
It's a Gabe Davis week. Calling it. I'm going Gabe Davis. So we're going 25 bones on Trey McBride, Zay Flowers, and Gabe Davis. That will pay out $696 if those three score. So we'll take those.
Good luck. Start 2, Connor, Deontay, Gabe, Shakir. I'm going with the first 2.
Yes, barely though. I have Gabe close to Deontay.
Fair. I think that's reasonable. You have where we left off.
Yeah, J Full says his favorite bets have been Kamara receptions plus 100. I'm not exactly sure what his receptions total is, but I've seen actually a lot of people say that. And then over 48.5 yards at plus 105 for Eckler. I'm assuming that's his receiving line. But who knows? Eckler, he's been getting dragged through the mud the last couple of days, because of his 13-mile-per-hour run that he had.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I pointed that out when it happened. Did you see how slow he looked on that play?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with him.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of.
I guess he's just old. Is probably what's going on. But
yeah, fucking Eckler.
Also, an update on my Best Ball Mania team, in case you guys are curious. It's currently sitting right now in the mid hundreds. Out of the entire 670,000 people in Best Ball Mania 4, I have a team that's in the top 150 right now, and it was actually 119th entering the week. But there was a bunch of games on Thursday. There was a game on Friday. So it's kind of thrown it out of whack so far. But by the end of the week, I had a couple good performances so far with that team. I had Raheem Mostert. I had Amon-Ra St. Brown and Garrett Wilson. Both were able to get some work done. So I'm hoping I could get a big performance out of my team this week, because if I can go from 119th, where I came into the week last week, all the way up to like 70th or something like that with like 150, 160 point performance, I still got 2 more weeks left to try and climb to the 500K grand prize for the in-season tournament.
Good luck with that, brother. Good luck. Yeah, I'm advancing a decent bit of teams now too. I think I'm up to.
Oh yeah, my advance rate's really solid too. This is just like my best team for sure. Like it's
like locked in. Yeah, that's what's up,
way
bro.
up there.
Good shit. Good shit. Got a couple supers here from Javon and SM, so I'll get to them. Appreciate that. Another OG of the chat, Javon. I'm glad that Javon is asking these types of questions now, because at one point, remember that, like, should I start Barkley Adams
Barkley,
or
Derrick Henry, or CeeDee Lamb was the questions.
yeah. No, shout out Javon. Like, not only are these deeper leagues, these are extremely deep leagues with Shakir, McBride, Douglas, Likely, Mingo, or Najee. I'm going with McBride for sure. Douglas versus Shakir is pretty close. Probably go with the volume of Douglas, assuming this is a full PPR.
Yeah, I would take Douglas over Shakir personally.
Yeah. The Shakir would be my next option, though, personally. 74% win projection this week, so he probably wants a more safer play. Start 4 between Smith, Godwin, Addison, Myers, Cook, and Davis. So right off the bat, I mean, if you're looking for safe, I like Smith and I like Addison.
Yeah, Godwin.
I like Godwin.
Fits into that role as well. For me, I would play it safe with your first 3: Smith, Godwin, Addison, and then shoot for a ceiling with Gabe Davis as the 4th play. That's what I would do.
Davis over Cook?
Yeah. Eagles, dude, ain't fucking with that run defense.
For sure. Yeah, that's fair. I don't mind that. Appreciate the super chat. Full PPR, he said. So it is full PPR with this question before. So yes, I would go with McBride and Douglas there, Javon.
Yeah.
So we're caught up now. I'm also just like simultaneously peeping, making sure my lineup's good at the same time. But yeah, you can get us where we left off.
Yeah, real quick too. I have a couple 3-pick parlays. So Trey McBride, Zay Flowers, Gabe Davis, 25 to win, 690 if you guys want to tail that. I also have a gutty one. This is $15 to win, 1,260. Marquise Brown going over 70+ yards, and then Josh Downs and Chris Godwin to both go over 80+ yards. So I think that could be a sneaky one. And then I also have another anytime touchdown one, which is a little bit safer. Derrick Henry, Josh Downs, and Christian Kirk. That one's a 20 to win, 405. So going with a couple parlays this week, see if I can get any cashed in.
Yeah, no, I dig that. We got a super here from Special. Downs or London half PPR had Downs, but Lattimore is out.
I would still play Downs.
I have Downs 1 spot higher. So I would go with Downs.
Paulson Adebo has been quite good also. And he's going to be mainly on London.
Number 2 graded corner, right?
Yeah, I would play London over Downs for sure. Or sorry, Downs over London.
I am very curious what PFF's grade for DaRon Bland is now. By the way, I know Dak is now officially 2 points clear of everyone else at quarterback in terms of PFF grade. I'm curious what's called Bland is at. So Bland is loading. Of course, it takes a year to load. Okay? We'll just get to the next question. Still loading. Oh, I got it. DaRon Bland is at a 91.5 defensive grade. Paulson Adebo is number 2. Rasul Douglas, who was acquired at the deadline by the Bills, is number 3. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at defensive player of the year potentially with that pick 6 on Thursday.
Yeah, that's honestly wild that he ended up doing that.
Yeah, to think that Trayvon Diggs had fucking 11 interceptions in 2021, and now that hasn't even been the best cornerback year of a Cowboy in the last 3.
Yeah, insane. Well, I mean, the difference has been that Bland isn't giving up huge plays in the process.
What's crazy about that is, like, that year, yes, Diggs gave up the big plays, but then he was like legit locked down last year and then gets hurt this year. I cannot wait to watch those guys in the same secondary, man. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, has Gilmore been washed, or like is he fine?
He's been okay. I would say he's a solid number 2, but he'll be a great number 3 if he comes back on the cheap next year, though. He'll be a fantastic number 3. Murray, Pollard, Montgomery, Olave, Nakua, Likely, Kyron Williams on at the last flex. Benches Godwin, Collins, Warren, Spears, Carr, and Freiermuth. So basically, any changes we'd have in the lineup.
No, I think I'd leave it as is. I mean, Pollard and Montgomery are obviously locked in already, but the rest
I would roll with that.
Looks fine to me.
I would roll with that as well. Thoughts on
Collins versus Kyron would be the only debate for me, but I think I'd roll with Kyron.
Thoughts on Bijan against the Saints? Obviously, a tough matchup. The Saints are a really stout defense.
For what it's worth, the Saints are giving up like the 23rd highest yards per carry average to running backs this year. So the fantasy production hasn't been there for fantasy running backs because they're not allowing a lot of touchdowns and receiving work. But it is possible that Bijan can carve them up in this game. I also like Desmond Ridder has checked down way more than Taylor Heineke, so hopefully we get we get more targets out of Bijan this week too, because he only had like 2 targets and 1 target or whatever in the 2 games that Heineke started.
Yeah, for sure. You got where we left off.
Yeah, I'm gonna go all the way up here to Bailey, I think. He said, I just traded Gus Edwards and Jacoby Myers for Terry McLaurin. My team is deep. I'm clinching this week, and Jacoby Myers hasn't been great since McDaniels got fired. Was that a good trade? Is this a dynasty league? Because you're saying full PPR, start 10 super flex. Either way, I think I like the McLaurin side, but like at the same time, like there's not a huge difference in production value between McLaurin versus Myers and Gus Edwards. So it's a fine trade. It's not like a barn burner or anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Alan says Ridley or Swift full PPR. I'm
Swift.
going with Swift pretty easily.
Yeah, all day.
Who's winning, Patriots or Giants? I'm a Pats fan, and I know a loss would be better. Yeah, I think the Patriots will end up losing, to be honest, which might be a hot take. I nearly made the Giants my underdog pick of the week.
Dude, what's crazy about that is if the Patriots do end up losing that game,
Marvin's a Patriot, 100%.
Drake.
They're gonna pick Marvin. I will call it right now.
If they pick second overall,
fucking clock cleaned by Marvin Harrison Sr. for so many years. There's no way he's not going to pick Marvin Harrison.
And
Sr.
I understand that, but at the same time, if
they're a veteran quarterback type of team, I guarantee they would go after like Kirk Cousins and draft Marvin Harrison.
That would be completely ridiculous.
It would be malpractice, I know, but I think that's what they would do.
You got a generational potential quarterback prospect. I think Drake May, like, I understand the stats. Like, people are like, he's lost games here.
I'm going to be curious to see how the offseason progresses and how quickly it takes people to say that he's better than Caleb Williams.
People are already saying it, dude.
I know, but I think because of the whole like Caleb is soft and he like paints his fingernails and all this bullshit that people talk about Caleb Williams, I'm willing to bet that like one really high profile draft analyst will have him number 1 quarterback, and then
people already do. People already do.
No, but like somebody like Kuiper will fucking do it, and then everybody will follow.
Brugler did. Brugler already did. That's what I mean. Brugler's already done it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got physical tools. He's got better physical tools than Caleb Williams, for what it's worth.
Yeah, and not to mention
he's bigger, he's more athletic. It's just Caleb has more arm talent.
And he's also much better in structure too with Drake May. Like, you could put him in the NFL.
Caleb's nails under pressure too, and Drake has got rattled a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's under pressure, but I just mean like in terms of just sticking in structure, delivering strikes. Like Drake May, the thing that people are obsessed over with May versus Williams. Again, I'm not going to completely dissect them because they are both fantastic quarterback prospects.
Also have months to do that.
For sure. With Drake, though, is like you can point to the archetypes in the NFL of these elite pocket passers, like a guy like Justin Herbert, a guy like Trevor Lawrence, for example, are probably like the best comparables in terms of tools, in terms of how they win. Whereas with Caleb Williams, it's like you have Mahomes, but outside of Mahomes, who's kind of like that type of archetype of quarterback at that size? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Also, do we know if Jefferson's going to play on Monday or not? Because I actually kind of need to know.
He's a true questionable, is what I heard.
It says he's looking unlikely to play is the most recent update.
So that I think I'm must have just got released.
I'm going to have to sit him, I think.
What league?
Bitcoin.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, he's fair play. You have where we left off, by the way, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's 12:59, so we'll
may as well just sign off.
Yeah, might as well sign off. Good luck to all of you guys in your fantasy matchups. Hopefully you guys win this week. Hopefully my Best Ball Mania 4 team can continue to climb the ladder here. I think we got some last seconds. No, we didn't. Never mind. I thought we got a last second super chat here.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it.
Hopefully we got to get better soon. Yeah, I'm not really that sick. I just have like a bit of a cold right now. It's just when I get a cold, it's like all in my nose and my eyes, which is why it's like hard to stream while I'm doing it. But I should be fine.
Sounds good. All right. That being said, peace out.
Take it easy, good luck. Fellas. Good luck.
Good luck in your matchups. Unless they completely coincide with my matchups, then no. But regardless, though, take care.